Hmm.
Hey guys, I'm Mark. I'm the lead product manager over here at Locofy, and today we have Peter Bae from Blast here with us at our first ever interview. So super happy to have Peter over here. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us, Peter.
Right, thank you, Mark, for the short introduction. I'll introduce myself. My name is Peter Bae, and I'm the CEO of Blast. We're based in Korea, and we actually got a new office in Singapore recently. So yeah, we have two offices, and currently we're running a software agency business, and we also have our own AI project that we're running right now.
Nice. Where's your office in Singapore?
It's just like somewhere. It's like it's a blank office. But yeah, it's just for incorporation reasons. Yeah.
Okay.
And
Oh,
so
so
we're
you're not physically in Singapore.
yeah, but since we're like kind of like a remote team, we yeah, we're just like all over the place.
Oh, so it's a fully remote company.
Kind of partly like there we do have an office in Korea, so like people do come in, but then like they do like remote work there and then. So
Nice, very cool. Yeah, we're fully remote over here at Locofy as well.
yeah, I heard about that from Honey and Anu. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, very cool, very cool. Okay, and what kind of work does Blast do?
Oh yeah, so I think I will probably talk about the business that's mostly related with Locofy and
Yeah,
our Locofy uses. So we started out as a software agency, so we built software and digital products for other companies, and it's pretty straightforward. So we built like web applications, mobile applications, well, server stuff like that, or AI ops solutions for other companies, and yeah, so I think should I just talk about how like it really we kind of use Locofy and all that?
yeah. I guess before we even jump into Locofy, like
Uh,
the whole the hot topic in the world right now is AI, right?
mhm.
And we're just kind of wondering how do you guys use AI in your workflow? Is it something new? Has it been something you've been using for the past few months? Have you seen any benefits in using it so far?
Mhm. I think it's like a very it's a very good news for a lot of people, but it's also kind of like scary for a lot of developers because they're like, oh no, are we gonna lose our jobs? Like if we automate all these code and like automate all these processes, like what's gonna happen to all these jobs? So I think in that sense, it's a bit scary, but I also think it's an opportunity for people to actually learn like these new AI skills, but and I think like we're jumping too much ahead. So of like the whole process of how AI is developing. So like people think like it's gonna overtake jobs like in an instant, but it's actually a pretty slow process. I mean, AI is developing pretty fast, but like the way it's like kind of integrating into our lives, it's not actually replacing our jobs. It's actually kind of like augmenting it. So we're kind of looking at it as a way of like kind of improving our workflow, not actually just like replacing everything. So maybe um, yeah, so like maybe taking like 20 or like 30% of like our workload so we can kind of like focus our uh, like other resources on other places. So I think in that sense, AI wouldn't like replace everything. It would be more like an augmentation. So yeah, I think so. We're trying to kind of embrace that culture at last, and so I don't tell people here like you guys gonna like take over your jobs and stuff like that. But I usually tell them, hey, it's like a new skill, and I feel like it's going to be really really helpful in the future. So it'd be a really great idea to kind of like have a head start on like learning these new technologies and like embracing these new technologies. And I think that was one of the reasons that we actually like reached out to Locofy at the conference and stuff like that to kind of like figure out a way how we can kind of like build the future together in that sense. Yeah. So
Nice, very cool. So
mhm.
I guess I'm sure it sounds like you work on a lot of projects at the company. So could you describe one of the projects that you've worked on and have used your Locofy on?
Yes, so like for me personally, I used Locofy on just like these like little test projects,
Yeah,
but as a team, the first like the major project that we actually built entirely with Locofy was an app. It was I can't really say the name because of the
yeah,
client
sure.
explosion and stuff like that. It was like a recording app. So basically, it records meetings and then it kind of like summarizes meetings from audio to text and stuff like that. So it's like a very simple app. we had a very tight deadline. It was like 4 weeks to build the whole app, and we had to build like the backend infrastructure and everything in just like 4 weeks. So we were very tight on the schedule. So I told my developers, so it was like two developers on the team. I told them, hey, I've been using Locofy for my test projects. Why don't we just try to use this for our main project? And so yeah, we actually built the whole app. So we ran every page, every component through Locofy, and we actually built the first prototype in I think like a week and a half.
Mm.
So it actually was very impressive because usually it was still like 50 pages of like React UI component development we had to do, but then it actually really reduced the amount of work that we had to put in. And so yeah, it really helped us meet our deadlines, and it really helped us actually appease our clients as well. So yeah, so I think that's really like that was one of the things when I was like, oh wait, Shopify is like so good. So,
Got it. Very cool. So, yeah, it sounds like it's been saving you a lot of time. 4 weeks down to a week and a half.
mhm.
How long would it have? How long do you think it would have taken you if you didn't have Locofy?
I think we couldn't have matched the 4 week deadline because
Yeah.
I mean, I say simple app, but like developing, there's a lot of like, there
Yeah.
were twists and turns, and so I think it would have taken like at least 6 or 5 weeks,
Okay.
like just like minimum because, yeah, of all the technical complications and there's some issues on the side as well. So, and I think it was actually very helpful because we did face some like additional issues,
Yeah.
but we were able to kind of like handle those issues because we were able to take care of like the grunt work with Locofy, and so we were able to kind of like delegate our resources to other problems that we had to solve. I think it really helped us kind of meet our deadlines. Yeah.
Got it. Yeah, we've been hearing that a lot. Like instead of starting from scratch, right? Which
Hmm.
is, it's 2024. AI is already here.
Yeah.
Nobody should be writing apps from scratch anymore.
Hmm.
So yeah, a lot of people have been saying that Locofy gets them to a really good baseline. It might be
Hmm.
like 70 to 80% of the work done. Still need engineers to come in to bring it to production ready code, but it
Hmm.
saves so much more time. Um, but yeah, let me see. What else do we have? So how I guess you were using it first, and then you kind of brought it to your team, right? So was this the first project that they used it on?
Yeah, so that was like the very first project. So they were kind of actually scared too, like
Yeah,
yeah, because my bro's like, hey, like I'm a front end developer, like what's going on with my job, you know? But yeah, I assured them like it's not like pitch perfect. So
yeah,
like yeah, there still needs to be like integration work that front end developers need to. But yeah, yeah, it was a very good experience for our developers and also for me as well because it was actually like the first time like I told my team to kind of use it, and I actually used it as well. But it was like a very collaborative experience for our company and our team. So I think it was a very um, nice opportunity to try out, Locofy. Yeah. Hmm.
yeah. We hear that a lot. I mean, I think engineers are very resistant when it comes to change, especially when it comes to like new tools.
Hmm.
Yeah, so I'd love to hear like what they were under a tight timeline. They were hesitant to new tools. How quickly were they able to pick up Locofy, and did they see immediate benefit, or was there some sort of learning curve before they saw
Hmm.
some sort of efficiency?
Yeah, I mean, so like uh back like a long time ago when I was just using Locofy Classic
Yeah,
before Lightning came out. So that time it was kind of like I did have to kind of like learn the whole bits and
yeah,
bits of all Locofy. But then after Lightning came out, like all you have to do is just like press on the phone and just click. So it's pretty quick. So all yeah, my team was like, hey, I mean, there's no like too big of an issue of using it because all you have to do is just select the component, run it through. I mean, we did face some small issues with the component namings and stuff like that. But then since we also use like other LLM solutions, we kind of like filtered that out and kind of made the entire product much more solid. So yeah, and I think yeah. So it was a very um, yeah, it was a very simple experience I think for me because like and for our team as well because all you have to do is click Lightning, and you're done. Basically, that's your first code. So there's not, yeah, not too much learning.
Nice, good to hear. Good to hear. Yeah, I think once people see how easy it is, or how easy we've made it, they're a lot more willing to give it a try. And once they see the quality of the code as well, I think that really gets them over that line of okay, Locofy is easy to use, it fits into my workflow, and yeah, I will probably continue using it again and again.
Mhm.
But yeah, so that's good to know that they enjoyed using it for the first time. What do you think is the single biggest benefit you got from using Locofy?
I think the biggest thing for me was time saving. Like I saved a lot of time because like if you see like the development process for building apps or like web or mobile apps, most of it is based on like creating the React components, matching the styling, well, the TSS, which becomes like a huge grunt work later on. Um, but I think in that perspective, it solved a lot of those issues, and so I was able to kind of like delegate my resources to like like considering how to kind of make the architecture better or focus on like the design system of our UI components and stuff like that. So I think in that sense, I was able to kind of like focus on the bigger picture more because I had much more time. I didn't have to do like the grunt work and stuff like that. So I think the biggest one was time saving, and yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, I mean that's super important in an agency, right? Time is money. Um,
Mhm.
but yeah, for your front end devs who are a bit like worried about what's going to happen to their job, like how after experiencing Locofy and saw the benefits, how did it change their perception of Locofy?
So it kind of like for some people, it scared the shit out of them because like because they're like, oh my god, like what's gonna happen? But some people are actually very interested and like not just it wasn't just like oh we're gonna like make the front end better now. They actually were like, hey, maybe we should kind of learn Figma to kind of like optimize our code. So it was um I think like it kind of opened up other opportunities for the front end developers to kind of like work with the designers, and
Mhm.
it was like a more like a collaborative kind of like experience with them because like usually it's just like designers like hand them designs and just like they do it on their own, but now we have to like talk to each other, right? Actually talk to each other with like the Figma components and all that. So yeah, I think it was a kind of half-half experience. Some were like really scared, but then some were like, hey, like I think it's a really great opportunity. So but then right now, I actually every we have a weekly meeting every week, and I constantly tell them that you have to use Locofy because it's like the requirement now in our company,
Nice.
basically. And also, Honey and Anu gave us a very good opportunity to use the enterprise plans. I
Yeah.
told them to utilize that as much as possible, and so yeah, and so I think yeah, we're on that path right now. Yeah.
Very cool. Very exciting. So, how much time do you think Locofy is saving you? I think you mentioned it would have taken you 6 weeks, but it's been
Mhm.
cut down to a week and a half. So, uh, that's like I would say 4 times the speed that you were moving at.
Mhm.
Okay, good to know. Good to know. What
Yeah,
about
so
in terms of like code quality? Any feedback on that?
oh, yeah, that was like the one issue that we are still trying to solve in Locofy,
Yeah.
and it got much better because I've been using Locofy since like Classic, so
Yeah.
like very very early stages, and I know it got much better, and there's like support for style components now, like other like styling libraries. So it got much better, but it still has some issues with like kind of like figuring out how to name the components and like how to organize like the whole file structure. Like I usually like style components on like a separate file, but then like right now it's like in one whole file. So
Yeah.
we do have to do some like mini work in between, but it's still much faster than just creating it from scratch.
Yeah.
And we actually did an experiment. So we used ClickUp to kind of like calculate our workload for each like page and component.
Okay.
And usually like it takes like a day to maybe like 2 pages per day. But then right now we can like create multiple pages, probably like up to like 5 pages per day. You use Locofy, and so I think it's like two x our performance right now. Um, but it's like a very light experiment I've been doing with. I've been tracking everyone's like, tasks and seeing how like they've been doing, and we have like a workload calculator ClickUp to kind of like calculate how much we kind of invest in the whole tasks. And I think we've been seeing like a 2x improvement. But then right now I'm trying to figure out how to kind of like systemize the workflow. So maybe like generate the code from Locofy and run that through like to cloud to kind of like filter out like the kind of like the inefficiencies and then make that better. So yeah, we actually have like this. I have my own workflow, but I'm trying to kind of like show that to our team so we can have like a official like team process of like generating good quality code.
Yeah.
And I actually talked to this with Anu and like Honey about this in our first meeting. But then yeah, but then I have really high hopes because Locofy is just like opened right in September, I think, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And I know that uh, Siddharth, the CTO, I talked with him as well, and yeah, he has big plans to kind of like improve the code quality.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're hoping that later on it's going to be much better. Yeah, but in the meantime, we're kind of like focusing on like a custom solution to kind of like generate better quality code. Yeah, as of now.
Nice. Good to know. Good to know. Yeah, I mean, it's always going to be an iterative process. It's never going to be perfect, but we're doing whatever we can to make it better and better every day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but we're super thankful to the Locofy team because like we've been having a blast using Locofy because like it just saved a lot of time, and actually it was I like testing things, testing new products, and it was a very cool experience because I've been seeing how Locofy grew from the start,
Yeah.
and I didn't know like the backstory of like how Locofy grew, but after seeing Honey and Anu at Switch, I've talked with them how like the whole team and how the whole product grew. So it was very yeah, it was a very good talk that we had in Singapore.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah.
I love what you said just now. I think that should be the title of this video. You said, "We're having a blast with Locofy."
Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah, just a couple more questions, I guess, before we
Mhm.
wrap up. I know we only have 20 minutes, but
Mhm.
I think you've been here. You've been using Locofy since the early days, and it's been 4 years. The product has been growing and developing so much. So, you know, if you had a choice, if you had full control over the Locofy roadmap, what would you like to see next in terms of features or improvements?
Mm. Uh, I wish there were some like workflow settings that we can kind of actually implement in Locofy. So basically, be like, hey, after you run this code, go through this block, this block, this block to generate like our code. So basically, kind of like implementing custom filters in between. That's what we're doing as of now with like as with Locofy in the input, and then like we use other solutions like third party solutions, right, to generate code. But it would be really cool if it was actually integrated into the Locofy uh, product, so we didn't have to use other solutions. Uh, yeah, but then I think, well, I did my research on the LDM model and like the PDF that's on the website and stuff,
Yeah.
but I feel like maybe integrate kind of like collaborating with the LDM and the LM models will be like, yeah, it will produce a much better output. So maybe I hope that there will be kind of like a solution where we can like create our own blocks or filters so we can create kind of like customize our code into our kind of direction. So we have like our own design system, like our code architecture and like code guidelines as well. So maybe we can kind of like implement that into like the filters so that when the code comes out, it kind of like matches our style.
Mhm.
Yeah, that'll be very cool. Yeah, that's one feature I'm really looking forward to. I've mentioned like a couple of times to Honey and I was like, please, generate this in the future. But yeah, in the meantime, like I'm still pretty comfortable with this, getting the code from Locofy and just running it through our own LM solution. So I think, yeah. but that would be a very very cool solution to have.
Yeah, yeah. We've actually heard that quite a bunch of times, and we've been running some internal experiments with the LDM LLM synergies, and very promising results, I would say.
Mhm.
Yeah, expect to see something. I think you'll like it.
I'm looking forward to it.
So yeah, last question. If it seems like you guys are pretty, you've integrated Locofy pretty well into your workflow already.
Hmm.
If Locofy were to somehow all of a sudden just stop working today, how do you think it would have impacted your team?
Uh, I mean, we can still code on our own, so it would probably not like tank the business, but I think it would make our lives much more miserable because like we've already kind of like set the whole team on like as like a Locofy team to use Locofy and generate code through that, and so I think it would be a very big hole in our kind of workflow. Yeah, and so I mean we can probably use like LLMs to do that, but then people know that I've used LLMs to generate code from Figma, and it's pretty terrible. Yeah, and so yeah, I think in that sense it would be a very very big miss out for us, and it would actually probably like decrease our work efficiency a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense. Okay,
Mhm.
cool. Yeah, that's all the questions I had.